Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome to Nerd News Today. And I talk a lot about action figures and how much I love accessories when it comes to my action figures. If a figure has a ton of accessories, chances are I'm gonna love it. And if a figure has no accessories, I am most certainly going to hate it. So I'm always on the lookout for ways to kind of buff up my accessory collection, especially for figure photography. One of the ways you can buff up your collection is to buy miniatures, and those are, usually going to be kind of hit or miss because you got to make sure they're close enough in scale to fit your guys, and they're also going to usually be very expensive when you do find the right ones because of all the hand-painted details in them. So lo and behold, I was at a shopping trip at Five Below, and that's when I discovered these. What the heck we're looking at today, and why does it seem like it doesn't fit anything we do here on this channel? Because it doesn't. We're taking a look at a few packs from Totally Tiny by Just Play. And just from looking at this packaging here, you guys can tell these things really look kind of funny. I mean, these aren't anything that I normally do here on the channel. These aren't Star Wars toys. These aren't Lord of the Rings toys. These aren't wrestling figures. These aren't Star Trek. These basically look like they're meant for small dolls. And that's probably what they actually are meant for. But like I said, these were at Five Below, which meant these were $5 a piece. And I couldn't pass up the chance to get a close look at these and see if they actually fit into the toys I collect. Because if they did, then man, that's going to be a pretty big game changer here for my collection. And the packaging gives you a great glimpse at all the stuff that comes in these, and that's a lot of stuff in these. So yeah, to be fair, $5 is a pretty good value, even if they're not going to be perfect size for my guys. And what's also kind of fun is that each one of them includes a surprise slimy ooze topping. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what it looks like. We're going to find out in another minute or two. I really don't necessarily care about the slime, but it's fun to have it. So yeah, let's go ahead, switch camera angles, take a close look at these guys, and see if they actually fit any of the figures I'm collecting and that you're collecting too. All right, so we are ready now to open up our Totally Tiny, whatever the heck we have here. And I just want to give you guys a look at which ones I have here. So this first set is French Breakfast, and that looks like it comes with a bunch of pastries, a little coffee cup, looks like what's meant to be brie cheese, a knife, a coffee press, some strawberry jam, and whatever the surprise is. And so here it is from the back too, so you guys can see. So this is what everything is meant to look like, and it might not necessarily look that way once we actually, turn them around and see. But for the most part, this one looks pretty decent, though, so we'll see how that turns out. Up next, we have Movie Time. This one has what looks like a pile of candy, some pretzels, chocolate. I guess they're chicken wings, maybe. I'm not quite sure. They're pretty bad looking. Some popcorn and a cup of soda. And according to how it looks in the back, so there's already a pretty major difference here. You guys can see that the candy is meant to be gummy bears, and they're meant to be all kinds of colors of gummy bears, and in this case, they're just pink. So they kind of just look like a pink amorphous blob. Would have been cool if they were a multicolored amorphous blob, but in this case now they're just pink, so we'll see how that turns out. And finally, last but not least, probably the one that I actually like the most, at least at this point, is the Chinese food set. And this has some pretty fun pieces here. So we got a bottle of soy sauce, some very orange, I guess you could say they're very deep fried egg rolls, some steamed buns over here, some orange slices, some rather unusual looking Chinese food, probably meant to be some kind of lo mein or something. We got some very large chopsticks and then fortune cookies, and those look pretty fun too. And it looks like, according to this, the chopsticks can in theory hold things, so we're gonna find that out. So I'm gonna go ahead and break all these little bits and pieces loose from all three of these packs here, and let's see how these things actually are, and let's just see if they fit any figures that I collect. All right, and here is our Breakfast Time pack, and you can see what everything looks like now. Pretty decent looking. Actually, pretty good amount of detail for the most part on these things here. I mean, considering what I paid for these, I should say, pretty good amount of detail. I mean, the brie cheese actually has some texture in it. The croissants, or whatever these are meant to be, have something going on there. And even this piece is pretty cool. Like, it actually has a lid that pops off. What I don't like as much about this piece, though, is how the coffee is actually just a piece of cardboard in there. It's not actual translucent plastic like I was hoping it would be. So that part, kind of a disappointment, but you can fill it up with whatever liquid or, I guess, lucite you want to fill it up with in this case. And I have to almost forgot about the knife over here as well. So I do want to show you guys, since this is a part of it too, this is what's, I guess, meant to be an attraction for the kids. You've got your slimy, oozy topping. I don't really care about this, but I'm going to just show you guys what it does and what it looks like, and hope it doesn't, like, stain my stuff too much here. So let us see what this is, find out if it's reusable or what the point of this thing actually is, other than it being a gimmick for kids to play with. All right, so you pop it open, and it's meant to be put on the toys for some unknown reason. Let's see how it goes. It is slime, okay. Cool. So it's very sticky. It is very, okay. Don't quite know how to describe it. It's not quite like the texture of GAC or anything like that, if you guys remember what GAC feels like. But it's just a very kind of malleable slime that you can actually change and roll around, which is kind of neat. So you actually could put it into your little coffee cup right there and have a cup of slime, or you could probably even put it in the coffee press. So That's cool. Really, the main thing about this, that was gross, just bubbled. The main thing about this is that it is able to be shaped and pulled apart, and that's kind of handy, I guess. And let's see if this actually can cut. Like, yeah, you know, you can actually play with this. This isn't just some weird little gross, very liquidy slime. This is some slime that has a little bit of body, a little bit of weight, a little bit of girth to it, I guess. I don't quite know what the words are to use to describe slime, but, you know, this isn't just a pile of drippy ooze. This is stuff that's actually meant to be played with and be moved around, I guess. So that's actually kind of cool. I actually don't hate this as much as I thought I was going to. Of course, do I need this? Not at all for my purposes. I mean, it's fun to play with, I guess, right now on camera, but after this, I don't even know what I'm going to do with the other ones. I'll probably just give them to some kids I know. But hey, this is not terrible. This actually isn't bad, and it won't really stick to your stuff and ruin your stuff here. Probably won't ruin your toys too much. It will, I'm sure, definitely ruin fabric and doll hair and things like that. So wouldn't recommend it for that, but for pouring on top of your food as a weird, secret, slimy sauce, sure, go for it. All right, let's go ahead and keep opening up the rest of these things. I'm going to actually open them all up and take a close look at the rest of the two sets I got. And finally, here's the last two sets. Chinese food on the left, movie time on the right. Let's get a little bit of a closer look at it. And, you know, I'm actually pretty impressed with some of the level of sculpting on these little bits here. I mean, it's not amazing, but spending $5, I mean, I'm not going to complain too much about them. I think they look pretty good for the price I paid for them, and I'm not going to really nitpick over them. To be quite honest, if I wanted to like spruce them up a little bit, I would say just, you know, as I mentioned a lot in other videos, get yourself some shade paints from whatever model painting that you're into if you're into model painting. If not, Agrax Earthshade from Citadel Workshop is fine, or there's some similar stuff that you can get cheaper from like Army Painter. And basically what shade paint does is it goes into the recesses of the sculpt, and it'll help darken things up a little bit. So like really, I think a little bit of Agrax Earthshade, some of these nooks and crannies, like especially the steam buns, and even the pretzels and the chicken wings, like it would make the texture that's on them pop out a little bit more, because there is some decent sculpted detail and some sculpted texture on these. I mean, there's not a ton, but there's something. So I think a little bit of shade might go a long way with it. Now, what's more confusing to me, by the way, is how I mentioned how this like little coffee press from earlier has like a piece of paper in there. But this soda, or whatever this is meant to be, has actual plastic, looks like, inside that. So that's kind of weird and confusing. But otherwise, these are really cool. These are really nice pieces. Colors, in some cases, might be a little off. Like, these egg rolls are very, very deep orange. But, you know, not bad. I'm not going to really be nitpicking over this too much. I think they look pretty nice. And they're definitely a lot more affordable than miniatures. So, hey, you know, I think the next step now is let's actually try this out with some figures and see if anybody can actually hold this stuff. Well, it looks like the answer to that question is yes, these actually fit on my action figures here. Now, I'm collecting predominantly in the 6-inch to 7-inch type of figures here. So, for example, that would be like WWE Elites, Star Wars Black Series, Marvel Legends. In this case, actually, this is not a Star Wars Black figure. This is actually a Diamond Select Star Wars figure. I just reviewed this recently. These are larger than the Black Series figures by about 1 inch, but still sizes up actually really nicely. So yeah, you guys can see here, I mean, this stuff, it actually is pretty much perfectly in scale with them, and that's great to know. Even the dumplings, the steamed buns, yeah, let's see, the orange slices, everything is actually to scale. I'm shocked by this, and I'm also really, really happy by this because it means I'm about to have a new addiction, aren't I? Oh yeah, I am. So now I also happen to have a 4-inch figure here, or a 4.5-inch figure. This is a Star Trek figure. And yeah, no, this size is absolutely out of scale. Here's like the knife that came with one of them. Here's even the jelly. Like the jelly is the size of his head. So 4.5-inch figures won't work. I don't think really 5-inch figures will work either. But if you have 6 to 7-inch figures, this will scale up perfectly with them. Now granted, this Bam Bam Bigelow here is a little big, so let me try something a little bit smaller perhaps. How about I bring in Daniel Bryan with a bottle of soy sauce that he's about to clobber somebody over the head with. So if that doesn't prove it to you right there that these figures do scale up with this stuff, I don't know what will change your mind. But yeah, everything scales up, and that's great. Like, this opens up so many new avenues to buying accessories for my action figures. And keep in mind, guys, this pack right now is still at Five Below. It's for, I believe, $5. Might actually be $4, but I'm pretty sure it's $5. And that's a great deal. I mean, you're getting a lot of accessories here. And basically just to dump everything on the table so you can see. This is what $15 will get you, excluding the slime, of course. That is something that I consider a free bonus as part of it. But you know what? Yeah, sure. I'll take the slime too. Why not? I'll give it to someone I know. This is what $15 worth of play food looks like, and it fits up really great. Fits in nicely with it. Now, the question is, of course, what are you going to do with this stuff? I mean, why would a toy collector need this? Well, if you're doing a lot of figure photography, you're going to want accessories to help kind of bring them into reality and help set up the world around them. So, for example, if I'm having actually a hardcore wrestling match with Daniel Bryan and my Bam Bam Bigelow over here, yeah, I could have them basically have like some kind of fight backstage in the catering area, and now I've got food to have them throw with each other, or just food to at least make the place look a little bit more realistic and feel like it's an actual catering area. And there's a lot of different types of food. I should mention these are only 3 packs, and these are the only 3 packs that are available at Five Below, but there's a lot of other packs. I did some more research online and found that there's a lot of these, and a lot more that cost a lot more money. So if you want to get something very specific, you can do that. There's a lot of options out there. And just because, by the way, I found these at Five Below doesn't mean it's like a failing toy line, because I think a lot of folks consider Five Below to be kind of like the end of the road, or similar discount stores like that to be like the end of the road for toys. When in reality, a lot of times it's not that. It's in fact a lot of different other factors that can play into why a company's at Five Below. And I found this out recently even talked to some companies about why they go to Five Below. A lot of times it's just a strategy. Like they might just want to get folks to buy these toys, so they'll throw them into Five Below so they can see the discount versions, then buy the full price ones and start buying more new stock. Other times it could just be dead stock or overstock. They just have too much of one thing and they want to get it out there, and this is the way to do it. Throwing it in a place like Five Below makes it more accessible and makes it at a price point where people can just buy it and jump right into it and give it a try. And that's basically exactly what I did with Five Below here. Was I went there and I decided to give these figures a try, give these accessories a try, and I think it paid off. I think this was a good experiment and very much worth it, because I got a lot of really cool accessories here. A lot of things I can definitely see myself using again and again. And I'm definitely going to get a lot of use out of these things. I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot more figure photography soon, I think. And this is kind of a motivator for me to do this. And especially for wrestling stuff, I think it actually works really great. But even Marvel Legends, or really just anything that's in a 6-inch scale, or 6 inch, in the range of that height, you can definitely get these and have a lot of fun with them, have a lot of usage out of them. So these are great for adults, especially great for kids too. If you got a kid that wants to play with things more and wants more accessories or likes accessories as much as I do, yeah, get them these. It's such a low risk thing for $5. Even buying them at higher prices or in larger packages from places like Amazon, still I think a very good deal. Because really, if you ever look up how much miniatures cost, they're a lot more money than what you're going to pay for these guys here. So yeah, make the investment and get yourself some really cool accessories and have some fun eating Chinese food at Bam Bam Bigelow. Or you could even share a chocolate bar with Scott Hall, because who doesn't want to have chocolate with Razor Ramon? So yeah, there you go, guys. That's how to look at some of this totally tiny food from Just Play. It's a random thing I found, and I wanted to share it with you, and I think it's a really fun thing to get. If you're doing figure photography, this stuff is really cool, absolute must-have. So go ahead and pick this up. I'm going to have a few links for some of the stuff I found on Amazon that you might want to take a look at. But really right now, check out Five Below stores, because they're there. They'll be there probably for a little while, but this type of stuff tends to actually sell and move. So yeah, jump in there, let me know what you find. But otherwise, totally tiny, I'm totally into it, and I'm going to be buying a lot more of this. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. That's a bunch of totally tiny food that I'm going to totally not eat. Really, I'm going to not eat any of it, I promise. Well, maybe I'll have the pretzel. No, I'm going to fight the urge. All right, so I'll see you guys next time here on Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching.